By night on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets, and in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not. The watchmen that go about the city found me, to whom said, Saw ye him whom my soul loveth? It was but a little while that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth. And I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her that conceived me. I want to use tonight for a thought. The search is over. The search is over. As I said earlier, it is important that you view the Songs of Solomon with a very spiritual mind. If you have some carnal issues within your flesh, perhaps you might need to get up and leave now, because this is a book that is filled with evocative and sensual language. It is the quintessential love story between a man who has his nose open and a woman who has her mind all strung out. Something happened to Solomon, who was and must be considered one of the world's greatest lovers. Solomon was a man that had 700 wives and 300 concubines. But something happened that Solomon was not able to be satisfied by 1,000 women. I want to talk to Solomon when I get to heaven, if he's there, and say, brother man, what was wrong with you that you had this insatiable appetite that you needed 1,000 women to fulfill and to give gratification? 1,000 women. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, Solomon had some issues. And we're not going to deal with all of the drama that's associated with 1,000 women. All of the he said, she said. All of the that's my man issue. 1,000 women. And I thought Solomon was the wisest man to ever live. Solomon had not only women that fulfilled every imaginable fantasy and attended lust that was within his being. He had all of the pleasures and material things that any human being could ever desire. The wealth, the riches, the wine, the women, the song, the dance, the power that was within the grasp of Solomon was unimaginable. The Queen of Sheba, hearing of the renown and the fame of Solomon and his wisdom, and Solomon and his accoutrements, and his vast buttery of material acquisition, came and said, the half have not been told. Solomon was indeed the world's greatest lover. But something happened to Solomon that drove Solomon to the point that he was sick of love. Because what Solomon was trying to acquire and attain through the conduit and facility of the natural only created frustration within the spirit. His commentary was, it is all vanity and vexation of the spirit. Syntagmatically speaking, this must be interpreted in three venues. Syntagmatically, we speak of the allegorical interpretation, the literal interpretation, and the typological interpretation. Literally is, it says what it means, and it means what it says. So when Solomon said stuff like this, behold, thou art fair, my love, behold, thou art fair, thou hast dove's eyes within thy locks, thy hair is as a flock of goats that appear from Mount Gilead, thy teeth are like a flock of sheep that are even shorn, which came up from the washing, whereof one bare twins, and none is barren among them. Thy lips are like a thread of scarlet, thy speech are comely, thy temples are like a piece of pomegranate within thy locks. Thy neck is like the tower of David, built for an armory, wherein there hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Well, we can stop right there. You got my point. Solomon, if we take this literally, not figuratively, was expressing some very profound desires and emotions about this one woman out of 1,000. And you know how it is. We just talking tonight. Men often say they're not henpecked. But there was a great ghetto philosopher who said there's nothing wrong with being henpecked, especially if you're pecked by the right hen. Can I get a witness in here? And so Solomon, who had this diversified female portfolio of 1,000 women, ran into the wrong, or shall we say the right one, that was able to divert all of his efforts and attentions from this cadre of female beauty to fix his eyes upon one person that captivated and fascinated him to the extent that he became sick of love. So if we syntagmatically talk about this from the literal point of view, we see that there is some very deep and profound words that are expressed. He's not talking about her spiritual beneficence. He's talking about her physical beauty.